Brainy Dose presents 10 bad habits that make people dislike you immediately. It's no secret that we all want to be liked and respected, but you may not realize that some of the things you do actually make people dislike you. In this video, we go through a list of bad habits that can turn people off and make them think twice about wanting to be around you. And while these habits can be easy to recognize in others, they're not always easy to spot in ourselves. That's why developing self-awareness is so critical. By being self-aware, we can better understand how we interact with others and how our actions and words may be perceived. So let's dive in and learn more about the bad habits that can destroy your likability. Number 1, making assumptions. This is one of the worst habits you can have. You see, people really don't like it when you make assumptions about them or situations without checking the facts first. Making assumptions can lead to misunderstandings and misinterpretation of situations, false accusations, and judgments. Not to mention, it makes you come across as arrogant and dismissive of other people's opinions. So instead of assuming things and then acting on those assumptions, try being more curious. Take the time to ask questions, listen, analyze facts and information, and be open to other perspectives. It can also be helpful to be respectful and understanding of others, and to be willing to adjust your views and opinions when necessary. Number 2, monopolizing the conversation. Many people have a hard time seeing eye to eye on how much to talk. Some people are naturally more talkative, while others simply aren't comfortable being the center of attention. But if you're one of those people who is always the loudest in the room, standing at the front of the line, or monopolizing the conversation, people will get annoyed. A lot. You might not even realize it, but once someone starts to feel ignored or left out, they will end up tuning out everything else you have to say. And that's not what you want. So let others speak as well, and express interest in what they have to say. Number 3, bragging or complaining too much. This kind of behavior can be incredibly off-putting. Bragging makes it seem like you're not actually interested in improving yourself. You're just interested in looking good. It also makes people feel like they can't relate to you. Complaining is just as bad as bragging. It makes people uncomfortable, and they may even begin to feel sorry for you instead of liking you more. If you have a bad habit of bragging or complaining too much, it's time to make a change. People don't like to hear about how great you think you are, and they definitely don't want to hear about how terrible everyone else is. On the same note, you should also avoid gossiping or spreading rumors about others to make yourself look better. Number 4, acting like a know-it-all. It's tempting to try and impress people by showing off how much you know, but it's a bad habit that can make people dislike you immediately. Sure, we all get a little excited when we know something others don't, but there's a fine line between being smart and obnoxious. And when you act like you have all the answers, it makes people feel as if they don't have any value in your eyes. While it's good to be confident in who you are and what you have to say, if you're always trying to prove yourself to others, it can come across as arrogance rather than confidence. Number 5, getting way too drunk. You might think that throwing back that line of tequila shots will make other people like you more because they'll see how much fun you can be. But often, the opposite is true. When you have too many drinks, your inhibitions are lowered, which makes it easier for you to say and do things you normally wouldn't. And in social situations, this often means saying and doing things that might not be appropriate or polite. It can also lead to people feeling unsafe around you and worrying that you might do something reckless or dangerous. I know this doesn't sound as fun, but the best way to avoid this situation is to stick to 1 drink per hour and always have a glass of water nearby so that when your mouth feels dry, or if you start to feel tipsy, you can reach for that instead. Number 6, being polite with some people, but not others. You might not be aware of this, but when you're talking with someone who is clearly less important than another person in the room, it shows. You may be using fewer words with that person or speaking in a lower tone. This is a sign of disrespect and a lack of care for other people's feelings. When you treat someone like they're inferior or like they don't deserve the same level of respect as someone else, it's easy to see how they'll feel slighted by that behavior. If you want to be more likable, it's important to be equally polite to everyone. So make sure your manners are consistent across the board. Number 7, telling inappropriate stories, jokes, or anecdotes. This bad habit can create an uncomfortable or hostile atmosphere. It makes people feel like they are not respected and can even lead to hurt feelings or social tension. You'd think that people would be more forgiving of your indiscretions in the moment, but if you tell an inappropriate story or joke to someone and they're offended by it, they will remember it. Don't forget that what may be funny to one person may be offensive to another, and the key is to consider the context of the conversation and the relationship between you and the person you're talking to. It's okay to have a dark sense of humor. Just make sure your audience is on board with it before you let loose and share. Number 8, not respecting other people's time. When you show up late, don't call someone back when you say you will, or don't respond to an email in a timely fashion. It makes the other person feel disrespected and unimportant. And if they're not willing to give you the benefit of the doubt, they're going to assume that you're just not reliable. Either way, it's rude and inconsiderate to keep people waiting. If you make a commitment, follow through. Respecting other people's time is an easy way to make them like you, because this shows that you care. After all, if your time is valuable, theirs should be too. Number 9, being overly dramatic. Are you the kind of person who tends to blow things out of proportion or cause a scene? If so, I've got some bad news for you. People can tell when you're being overly dramatic, and they don't like it. Not only does this behavior create a negative atmosphere, it also makes it difficult for others to take you seriously. Plus, it makes you come across as though you are trying to draw attention to yourself. Those prone to overreacting and making mountains out of molehills are not fun to hang out with. It's exhausting for everyone. It makes you look like someone who can't handle their emotions. You don't have to be cool as a cucumber all the time, but try not to make everything a big deal. Recognize that there are times when it's best to just let things go and move on. Number 10, not respecting boundaries. If you have a bad habit of not respecting boundaries, people will notice quickly, and it will make them dislike you. We all have different comfort zones for touching, talking about our personal lives, etc. And it's easy for people to feel violated when someone doesn't respect their boundaries. Respecting the boundaries of others is an integral part of interpersonal relationships. This means respecting people's physical and emotional space, as well as their privacy and their right to make their own decisions. Even if some of these bad habits seem small and inconsequential, they can make people uncomfortable around you. You may not even realize that you're doing these things until someone points it out. So if you want to be more likable, pay closer attention to how you act and communicate with others. You should snuff out these bad habits that might be rubbing people the wrong way. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends so we can keep making them. For more videos like this, hit the subscribe button and remember to click on the notification bell. Also, be sure to check out our other videos as well. Thanks for watching.